Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.
Welcome back to KSN News at 10. Steve Parker is a deputy with the Butler County Sheriff's Office, but before that, he spent more than 2 decades specializing in base security for the Air Force.
KSN's Mike Mahoney shares his story in tonight's Veteran Salute.
Graduated early. 2 days later, I had to do the whole waiver process. My mom had to sign that it was okay, and I enlisted 2 days after I graduated from high school.
In 1999, Pittsburgh, Kansas native Stephen Parker began his Air Force career at the age of 17, and following his basic and military police training, found himself enforcing the law at McConnell, but things quickly changed after 9/11.
A lot of the law enforcement portion of my job was not the focal point. It was all about base defense.
Base defense was also the focus of Stephen's first 2 deployments at Thumrait Air Base in Oman and Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Things became much more intense on his 3rd deployment, this time to Baghdad during Operation Iraqi Freedom, where his squad helped secure Saddam Hussein International Airport.
We established all of the security details for the first Red Cross flights bringing in humanitarian aid for the civilian populace.
And what he was accomplishing wasn't lost on him.
Something that I would expect to be in history textbooks somewhere. You know, this is when the first aid started rolling in, and I can look at that and show my kids.
Stephen returned to McConnell in 2003 and focused on base law enforcement and security until 2014, when he began work as an imagery analyst monitoring drone feeds. He retired from service in 2022 as a senior master sergeant and is now protecting his fellow Kansans with the Butler County Sheriff's Office along with his canine companion. And he says all of his law enforcement training in the Air Force has taken him far.
It allowed me to experience some of these calls beforehand and make mistakes in a much more controlled environment than you would experience out on the road today.
Here for you, Mike Mahoney, KSN News 3.
The Devon James Injury Lawyers here with our Veteran of the Week, and that's Senior Master Sergeant Steve Parker, who proudly served our country in the United States Air Force for 23 years. On behalf of all of Kansas, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, and thank you for your support. It really means a lot to all the veterans.
Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.